What if Aerosmith released an album that went platinum, got nominated for a Grammy, and debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, and you had no desire to listen to it? That's the question I want you to sit with as we go through this video, and by the end, I think you'll have a pretty clear answer as to why that might have happened. So, hey everyone, welcome back. If you've been following this channel, you know I am a big Aerosmith fan. I'm an 80s fan through and through. Pump, Permanent Vacation, those records shaped how I hear rock music. And then, like a lot of you, I drifted away in the 90s after Get a Grip. Life got busy, music changed, I lost interest, and I moved on. So here we are in 2026. I'm sitting down with an Aerosmith album from 2001, Just Push Play, that I had genuinely never listened to from start to finish. I mean, I knew one song, Jaded, and I have it on vinyl on the Greatest Hits compilation, which came out a few years ago, but the rest of the album, pretty much unknown to me. I went in with a fresh ears and an open mind, and what I found was, well, let's just say it's complicated. The album turns 25 years old on March 6th, 2026. Let's get into it. So, Just Push Play is Aerosmith's 13th studio album, released through Columbia Records, and the band's first record in the 21st century. And from the moment you look at the cover, you know it isn't your father's Aerosmith, or even 1980s Aerosmith. The artwork features a futuristic female robot, which, if you don't know, is called a gynoid, and it's designed to resemble Marilyn Monroe. It was created by Japanese artist Hajime Sorayama. It's striking, very sci-fi, very we are now in the future. What makes the album unique is the first time Steven Tyler and Joe Perry took the co-producer reins themselves, working alongside collaborators Marty Fredrickson and Mark Hudson. They call themselves the Boneyard Boys. And the sessions took place at Joe Perry's home studio, aptly named the Boneyard, between April and December of 2000. Now here's something interesting and a little telling. Despite all that, Joe Perry has since called this his least favorite Aerosmith record. His big complaint that the band members were rarely in the studio together at the same time. They were recording in pieces, which, as we'll hear, shows. On paper, the album was a success. Debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, sold over 240,000 copies in its first week, went platinum within a month, and received 3 Grammy nominations, including Best Rock Album. Jaded became a top 10 hit globally, and Fly Away From Here landed on the adult top 40. So commercially, they delivered. Musically, that's where it gets a little more complicated. The sound on Just Push Play is a real departure from the bluesy hard rock that made Aerosmith legends. Instead, you get a very polished, very produced pop rock album with a lot of 21st century studio tricks baked in. Looping, beatboxes, turntable scratches, electronic effects. Some critics felt that all that muffled the band's natural raw energy, and honestly, I can see where they're coming from. But it's all not all bad. There are genuine moments of creativity here. You hear Middle Eastern textures, Kashmir-style string arrangements, Tower of Power horns, bringing soul and funk, Beatles-influenced harmonies, and yeah, nu metal and rap metal experimentation. The Boneyard Boys clearly threw a lot of ideas at the wall to see what would stick. The question is, how many of those ideas actually worked? So let's go track by track and find out. The album opens with Beyond Beautiful. Right away you sense that Aerosmith is trying to blend their classic sound with something more modern. There's some genuinely interesting melodies, and I caught some clear Middle Eastern influences woven through the blues rock foundation. Not a bad opening, but the verse and chorus don't flow together as naturally as they should. Feels like the songwriting might have been a little rushed. The musicianship is solid. It just needs a little more polish to come together. Just Push Play is weird, and I mean that in the least flattering way possible. They're clearly going for that rap metal sound that was dominating rock radio at the time. Think Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, that whole era. Now I get why they tried it. This is the band that collaborated with Run DMC in the 80s. They helped pioneer the rap rock fusion, but lightning doesn't strike twice here. You've got electronic sounds, turntable scratches, and the Walk This Way guitar riff, making a cameo like a wink to the hip-hop history. It's a no for me. It doesn't work, and it feels forced. Now we get to Jaded, and now we're talking. I've always loved the song. hearing it in the context of the album makes it stand out even more. It goes for an alternative rock feel, clean, melodic, anthemic, and I think they nailed it. It's my favorite post-2000s Aerosmith song, no question. The chorus is big, verses are tight, Steven Tyler sounds completely at home. If the rest of this album had followed this template, we might be talking about a classic, but it didn't. Still, Jaded is alone worth the price of admission. My Way From Here was one of the singles, and it's a power ballad in the classic Aerosmith mold. You could tell they were hoping to capture lightning in a bottle again after the massive success of I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. But where that song hit the stratosphere, this one kind of just lands softly. It's not a bad song. It's pleasant. But every time I listen to it today, I listened to it a few times, I couldn't hold on to it. It slipped right out of my memory. Not memorable. And I honestly don't even remember the song coming out. Like, the song wasn't even recognizable to me the first time I heard it. Trip Hoppin' is next. Track number 5. It's different. There's brass and horn, courtesy of Tower of Power, which should be exciting. In theory it is, but they're going for these Beatles-esque harmonies layered on top. But the problem is there are too many ideas crammed into one song, and none of them get enough room to breathe. The end result is a track that doesn't really land. It's not terrible, just scattered. And then there's Sunshine, and that one surprised me in a good way. It has this feel of cruising down a long desert highway, almost a Western vibe running through. It leans towards power ballad territory, but has a more distinctive flavor than Fly Away From Here. Joe Perry sounds especially sharp on the guitar here. Even the psychedelic touches they throw in don't derail the song. I think it should have been a single. In my opinion, it's better than Fly Away From Here and finds that balance between classic Aerosmith and a new sound, and better than most of the tracks on the record. Under My Skin is where the album starts to lose me again. They're going for industrial rock or new metal. It's hard to tell because they're trying to blend their own classic sound into the mix. The result is a song that doesn't seem to know what it wants to be. Too many directions, not enough focus. It feels like the epitome of what happens when a band is trying too hard to stay relevant rather than just playing to their strengths. Love Lies is another power ballad, and by this point in the album, I pretty much lost count of how many power ballads there are. But if you remember those songs from the 90s, Amazing, Crazy, and Crying from the Get a Grip album, it's essentially part 4 of that same song. Not offensive, but not doing anything new either. You get the feeling the formula has been stretched out as far as it can go. And on track number 9, Out of Your Head is the strangest track in the album. They're going for rap metal again, but it ends up sounding more like a bizarre Primus impression. The song structure is very weird. Verses feel disjointed, and while they try to pull together with a more memorable chorus, it's not enough to save the overall track. This one is experimental in all the wrong ways. Drop Dead Gorgeous was a surprise. It goes for an industrial meets Beatles sound, and honestly, it kind of works. I wasn't expecting to like it, but I did. It's a risk that I think they pulled it off, and it's a cool dynamic. Joe Perry does co-lead vocals. He handles the verses. Steven Tyler takes the chorus, and it's a nice balance. It's not perfect, but one of the more adventurous moments on the record, and I thought it was pretty good. It actually lands. Light Inside is more in line with classic Aerosmith, which is a relief, but it's not very memorable. It's fun, has a good energy, and there's a nice balance between who they were and who they're trying to be in the year 2000, but I don't know, kind of a filler track, not a standout, but it's okay. Last track, Avant Garden, and I like the title. It's a clever play on words. The song itself is modern Aerosmith with a slight country flavor and some Beatles and Oasis-like touches in the arrangement. It's not bad. It's not super memorable either, but it closes the album on a reasonably pleasant note, and you could tell they were hoping to land another hit ballad, given how many ballads are on this record, but it shows some ambition. But now, it's at that time. It's time for my final thoughts. So going back to the question, what if Aerosmith released an album that went platinum, got Grammy nominated, debuted at number 2, and you knew it came out, but you didn't have any desire to listen to it? I think what happened was just push play. It's very uneven. It has some great moments, like Jaded, that's a classic. Sunshine is underrated. Drop Dead Gorgeous It's a decent song, but for every song that connects, there's one where the band was chasing trends that they didn't really understand or throwing ideas to the wall without a unified vision. And that's a result of what Joe Perry himself pointed out, a band that wasn't really in the room together. At first listen, going in cold, I'd say if you were an Aerosmith fan in the 80s or 70s and you've never heard the album, there might be enough to make it worth a listen, especially if you approach it with patience and an open mind. But it's not pump, it's not rocks, it's not like the type of album that like you want to buy unless you're a completionist. But it's a different band, different era, trying to navigate a different musical landscape or different musical waters. That's a good way to put it. Might revisit it again. First impressions go so far, but right now it's just a curious album. It's a snapshot of a legendary band trying to stay relevant in the early 2000s, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's strange, and I don't know, that's all I can say about it. But if you want to understand how we even got here, how Aerosmith went from a band on the brink in the late 80s to one of the biggest acts in the 90s, make sure you check out my review of Get a Grip. It should be appearing on the screen right now. Thanks for watching. Please like this video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.